Welcome to Free Play. Today we're looking at Ultraman. Remember last time when I wondered if I could give Silent Dragon a lower score than a Slug? If only I had known then what I know now. Ugh, boy. Ultraman originally started airing in 1966, a full 25 years prior to the game's release, and while the look and general feel has been preserved by the game, that's about all it managed to get ported over. Presto Games is usually responsible for any Gundam or Shonen Jump game you may see, but those games are usually just cranked out by the dozen. Not to say that they're broken messes, because some of them are pretty solid. However, when was the last time you saw a tie-in game on a top 10 list, if you catch my drift? The main hero of this series, Ultraman, is an alien being who's merged life forces with a human to battle rubber-suited aliens and protect the planet. This game features those same monsters from the TV series, and it's your job to control Ultraman as he battles these various and sundry critters. However, it is not enough to simply batter them into submission. Ultraman has special powers that let you do damage, but once you've pummeled the monsters appropriately, you have to blast them with the final special move to blast them into splinters. This presents an interesting conundrum because it's very much in keeping with the feeling of the show. Typically, Ultraman would square off against the rampaging beast of the week, mad mug him for a while before throwing him around a few times, and then blow it into constituent chunks with his Specium beam. They tried to mimic this in the game by giving you a bar that slowly charges up to the final attack, but they also mapped the change power button to the up directional arrow. So in the middle of the match you'll be punching around and fire off the wrong power at the right time, leading to absolutely nothing happening. And then you have to wait for the power meter to refill, and by that time Ultraman's goony head will have been pounded into his ribcage, and you'll have to restart. Just to give you all a little behind-the-scenes note, I usually play these games on their normal difficulty, if the option is presented to me. I would say that this is the way the games are meant to be played. However, I also try to make sure to get all the way through to the end stage to show off what it looks like. This is easier in some games than others, to be certain. In this game, I made it to level 6 after many continues, only to get bowled over and squished into red pudding by this weird ball thing before I finally packed it in. There are few things in this world worse than getting beaten down by an overgrown cush ball, and a man has his pride to think of. To further illustrate my point, the only other videos I found on this subject either came to the same issue or had to use some manner of cheat to get further. Since I believe that games should be able to be beaten without cheating, I try not to do such a thing for this show. Though perhaps I should reconsider it after this one. So what I'm saying is that this game is broke as all get out. Ultraman has a kick, a punch, and a jump that he can use in the noble pursuit of getting pounded into a red and silver pulp. He also has a forward roll move that will end up as either a chop that causes knockback or a throw. However, getting close enough to do damage is really the main thrust of the problem for our alien hero, as on approach, the monster will usually breathe fire or strike with their tail to ruin your day. Jumping in doesn't work any better either, and you usually end up slamming right into him. There is a reflector screen attack that can block the fire attacks, but it's got too long a wind-up, and is hard to pull off in a pinch. That kind of sums up the game in a nutshell. Everything takes too long and you can't do it when you want to. This was made in 1991, so it was just shy of the fighting game craze. That really doesn't excuse poor priority and such an absurdly high difficulty level. Ultraman has 3 minutes to battle before he needs a snooze, and by extension so do you. But don't worry, the monsters will pummel you senseless long before the time limit is reached. In something of a first for this show, this game also had a distressingly faithful SNES port called Towards the Future, but that also means that every single issue suddenly came in a nice little 16-bit package. It is just as bad as you imagine, folks, and it's already been covered by slightly more famous people than I. So in honor, sort of our old buddy Ultraman, I've come up with a new signifier for this show. Out of order. When the best thing that you can say about your game is that it turns on, there's nothing else to be done for it. Looks like this one has to go back to the repair shop. Join us next time when we look at Conoco's Air Busters. If you like what you saw, consider donating to my Patreon to get early access to all the new vids as they come out. And as always, thanks for watching.